everybody, welcome back to homerecordingmadeeasy.com and here on my YouTube channel, and this is part 4, the final video of our series of videos on the solid state Logic UF1. If you didn't see parts 1 through 3, check the link in the description box below. There is a playlist which also includes the UF8 and the UC1, so we have all those videos inside of one playlist. You can check it out. In this video, I'm just going to talk to you and summarize about what I like, what I dislike, do I recommend it, and give you my final thoughts on this product. So make sure you check the playlist in the description to check out the other videos. Before we get started, I want to thank my good buddies at Sweetwater for sending this over to me for review. As you know, Sweetwater is where I get all my gear, and so should you. They sent this to me for free so I can do these series of videos for you, but again, they don't pay me for the video, blah, blah, blah. You know Uncle Dave's going to tell you straight about what I like and don't like about these certain products. And so I want to say thank you to Sweetwater for sending this over to me. This is a really cool product and I had a lot of fun doing it. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Make sure you also go out to homerecordingmadeeasy.com so I can give you a free mixing course. It's right on that homepage. Just click the orange button. It's my gift to you just for visiting Home Recording Made Easy. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I'm going to give you something else for free. So let's just summarize this thing. So this is a great piece of gear, right? When we did the UC1 and the UF8, I said the same thing. Let's start with the things that I like about it. From a build quality, it is built best in its class. And I've looked at all of them. I've done the fader ports by PreSonus. I've done the Soft Tube Console 1. I've done the Icon QCon Pro X. I've done the Studio Live by PreSonus. We've done the Behringer X Touch. We've done all of these controllers. And just like with the UC1 and the UF8, the UF1 is no different from a build quality perspective. This thing is just built like a tank. It's beautifully. It's probably the nicest looking one on the market. It's got this beautiful LCD screen with all different functions that we talked about in the first 3 videos. It's built extremely well. And it warrants a higher price tag than the others on the market as well, which we'll talk about. So can't complain about the build quality or anything like that. The other thing I really like about it is it's really fully packed with features. Now, a lot of the UF8 features that you can do, all the DAW compatibility and functionality, a lot of them are in this box. So if you didn't have a UF8 and you don't care about having 8 faders, this could be something that you can still get much of the same functionality that's in the UF8 in this. And you also have, again, the big, beautiful screen on it as well. So it is fully featured. Not that a lot of the other DAW controllers on the market that we looked at are not fully featured. They are. But this one seems to have one more level of it because it also integrates very well with the 360 software, which is their proprietary software, which we've talked about in other videos. That's something that's unique to solid state Logic. So that's really cool. So that's the second thing I really like about it. The third thing I really like about it, and as I said in the first, in part 2 and part 3, when we were talking about learning all the features of this, and I said this about the UF8 as well, never had to break open the manual once to figure most of this stuff out. Within a few minutes, you saw me pretty much figure it out live on camera with very little prep work. The same thing with the UF8 and the same thing with the UC1. And then as I said in those videos, and I'll say it here for the UF1, I think it's the only DAW controller on the market that I've tested where I didn't need to either read the manual to figure out half of what it does and how it works, or in some cases actually have to contact the company because it was just certain things were just not laid out right. And it was hard to figure out. It took some support. And in some of those companies' products, they didn't even work without all kinds of tech support. I won't get into all the particulars of that. You could go watch those videos. But the SSL stuff is the only stuff from the UC1 to the UF8 and the UF1 where I never had to break open the manual once to figure out 90% of what this thing does within a very short amount of time. And as I said in those videos, the last video, that's how I like to do these reviews. What is your experience going to be like when you first get it into your studio? How quickly can you get up and running without having to figure out a bunch of stuff and have to reach out to companies for tech support, so on and so forth? So you got to see really pretty much the same experience that I had, you should have as well. And it is pretty easy to figure out, even though there's a lot going on in here. It wasn't difficult at all. And so kudos to SSL for laying this thing out in such a logical way. Again, if you want to really go deep and really learn all the nooks and crannies, you're probably going to have to break out the manual because it is 100 and close to 140 pages. And I said in one of those other videos, I recommend that you do read the manual if you want to learn every little nook and cranny and you want to maximize what this thing is going to be able to do for you in your workflow. You're going to need to read the manual. However, if you're just looking to get up and running quickly with most of the features and functions, you don't need to do that. So those are the three things that I really, really like about the product. It's well built, it's logically laid out, and it's packed with a ton of features in it. Now, let me talk about a couple of things that I don't like about the product. And there's really only a couple, and these are just personal preference. But the first thing I'll tell you, as I've alluded to already, it is expensive. I'm not saying it's not worth the $700 price tag. All I'm saying is if you go to part 2 where I actually compared this physically side by side to the PreSonus fader port, and we talked a little bit about that, other controllers that are one fader that have a lot transport jog wheels and a lot of the same functionality as this UF1, like the PreSonus fader port, like the Behringer X Touch, they're a third of the price. Give or take. This is the most expensive by far. Is it worth $700? You know, everyone's opinion is going to be a little different in that. It is the most expensive in its class. If you're on a tight budget, you may be looking at some other products if this is a little too far out of reach. However, as I said about the things I like about it, it's built well. It's got the beautiful LCD screen. It's a killer product, and you would expect for that $700 price tag that this thing would be of this quality, and it is. If this was the build quality of something like the Behringer X Touch, not that that's a bad product at its price point, but if that was $700, that would be far overpriced and would be absurd for the quality and the level of functionality that particular product gives. I'm only saying it off the top of my head because that's the one I just thought of. Again, that Behringer is a good product. Go watch my videos. I told you for the money, you can't beat it. I think it's the least expensive of the group. This is the most expensive. And when you put them side by side, you can see why this is the most expensive. But one of the dislikes is it is expensive. For what this is, it's a lot of money. So you may want to, you know, again, is it a dislike? I'm just trying to tell you it's expensive. I feel like, wow, $700 for this thing. It's great, but it's $700. Okay. The next thing, which is a little bit more black and white, if you will, it's physically big. This is also probably the largest one in its class of all the ones that I've tested. I compared it in part 2 physically to a PreSonus fader port. A PreSonus fader port is like the perfect size and gives you a lot of the same functionality that's in this unit. Doesn't have the beautiful LCD screen, doesn't have the metering plug-in. Aside from that, all the transports, the jogging wheels and automate flying fader, movement in the fader, encoders and such. That PreSonus fader port does 80% of what this thing does at 1/3 the price and physically about half the size. So this thing is a giant piece of equipment. It is. Is it too big? Well, it depends on your desk space, right? If you are really tight on real estate, this might be a little challenging to put. When I first saw this before I got it from Sweetwater, I was thinking, oh wow, I'm going to use this on my SSL console, which is behind me. My transport system on my console is the PreSonus fader port. I thought, oh, it'd be cool to put the SSL on the SSL. This doesn't fit on the SSL. It's so big. I can't use it over there. I have to use something like this, the fader port. It's a lot more compact. So it's big. It's built like a tank. It's big. If you're concerned about the size of the thing, again, you can go look at the specs on the Sweetwater website between this and the other ones, but it is a big unit. But I don't see too much waste. There's a little bit of wasted space here, but not much. I don't know how they could have made this thing any smaller when you talk about this big screen that's in the top here. Everything is spaced out pretty much the way you would expect. There's not a lot of dead space. I don't know how they could have made this thing any smaller. I guess they probably could have cut in the sides a little bit, but not really. So it's big. Those are the only two things I really dislike. if you want to say they're disliked, it's hard to say, pardon me, that I dislike much about this product because I think it's a great product. I really do. It's best in its class from build, functionality, but it's more pricey than the other ones on the market, and it's physically bigger than the other ones on the market. So, do I recommend this? Would I tell you to run out and buy it? That depends. Two things. One, what's your budget? What's your budget? That's the first thing I would say. How much are you willing to spend? Are you in the $200 price range or are you in the $700 price range? If you can squeeze $700 and you want something that's going to last you forever, that's super, super high build quality, looks professional, looks beautiful on your workstation, I'd say absolutely go out and get this, because you're not going to find anything that's built like this, that looks like this, that feels like this, that has just has that professional quality feel and look. That costs $700. You don't get that for $200, and you shouldn't expect a company to put a product out at $200. It's going to give you this. You're not going to get this for $200. So that's what's your budget. Second of all, and also too, what I guess part of the price increase here as well, and one of the things that I should say that I like about this as well, is the whole fact that it integrates very well with the UF8, the UC1, and the whole 360 ecosystem. Okay, you could go watch some other YouTubers where they've actually got all three of them lined up on the desk, and they could work really well as a nice big system. That's another like that you don't get from a lot of the other products on the market. So what's your budget? Second, what are you looking for the thing to do? If you're looking for just simple transport controls and a couple of little things to help you in your DAW, but you're still going to be a mouse and a keyboard jockey for the most part, then again, this might be a little above what you may want to spend. If you don't really care about all the other deep dive stuff, if you don't care too much about the metering, this is probably not the one you take a look at, because as I said, all these other single fader DAW controllers all do transport, all have one motorized fader, all do panning, all have a handful of encoders that you can map plugins to, and it's all done exactly the same way, and it all kind of works exactly the same way. It's okay, but it's not great, but it works. All of them will have some kind of a jog wheel of some sort or some kind of a channel select. So for a lot less money, you could get a lot of the same functionality, but it's not going to feel as good as this one. It's not going to look as good as this one. And it's not going to have some of that other integration, like with the 360 software, like with their other controllers in their product line, UF8, UC1. It's not going to have a beautiful LCD readout, although the Behringer X Touch has a small LCD readout, but this one is much nicer and has a lot more functionality. So I recommend it if you can spend the money and you want that solid state logic thing. Solid state logic doesn't put out bargain, or what I should say, cheap entry-level products. They're only known for putting out high quality prosumer type stuff. That's what this is. So if that's what you want, and you want to buy it one and done and you don't want to have to worry about it, this is the one to get. If you already own a UF8 and a UC1, this might be something you'd want to consider as well. You'll have the trifecta, although I will say that when you pair this up with the UF8, a lot of the functions are going to be redundant. They're going to be on both units. Both have a transport. Not a transport with big buttons like this. The UF8, you have the little soft keys on the bottom, but they all serve as a transport function. Both have the cursor here, okay? Both have a channel select. The UF8 has 8 faders, this only has 1. So when you pair it up with the UF8, you're gonna find that some of these things are gonna be a little redundant, but this has the nice big screen. So again, I guess what I'm saying is it really all depends on your workflow. If you're a solid state logic person, this thing is great. If you're just looking for something quick, easy, and simple that doesn't take up a lot of room, that's not going to break the bank, this is probably not the first one I would tell you to look at, for no other reason, because it's big, it's expensive, and if you don't need a lot of the features that are in it, you don't necessarily need to spend this much money. And that's my honest truth, right? That's what I mean. Yeah, it's a sponsored video. Sweetwater sent this to me for free, but I tell you the way it is. I'm not going to, I don't, like I said, if you buy one with the link in the description, thank you so much in advance. If you don't buy one, that's okay too. If everything I just said talked you out of buying one, not trying to talk you out of it, but I'm trying to be honest with you. I'm not here trying to sell you gear like every other YouTube channel on the planet. I'm here to tell you the truth from someone who uses all of these things and who has used every one of them. I want to give you the information so you can try to make an informed decision, and I'm not just trying to sell you something because I don't care whether you buy it or not. But I will say in closing, and I said this before, and I absolutely mean this, it's the truth. And again, I'm an SSL, I'm a solid state logic guy. I have a console, right? A solid state logic console. If I was working all in the box and I was looking at all these different controllers and all I worked was in the box and I wanted, you know, a controller or a series of controllers to be my centerpiece out of all the ones that I've tried, which one would I personally own? I would personally own the UF8, the UC1, and probably this. I would probably have this as well because I like the screen, even though some of those features are redundant. If it was just my own personal opinion, and if I had to pick one, I still say the solid state logic stuff is the best stuff out of all the stuff that I've tested. It is the most expensive, but it is, to me, the best of the best out of all the ones that I've tried, not knocking all those other products. So I would have those 3 units on my desk. If that was what I worked on every single day, all day long, and that's what I did, that's what I would have. The reason why I don't have it is because I work mostly analog when it comes to mixing and recording. I usually just do in-the-box stuff for tutorials and stuff, so I don't need all those units because most of my client work is done on the console. So that's what I would say. Did I confuse you all now? I'm not trying to flip-flop here. I'm just trying to be straight with you. It is a fantastic product. It does warrant the high price tag. It's built like it should be built. It's got a lot of cool stuff, and it really all depends on your personal workflow, your budget, and it's all very personal. It's a personalized thing, right? All our workspaces and our workflows are personal, and so it's going to be different for everybody. But if you're wondering, does it live up to the SSL name? It sure does. And it's a gorgeous product. And I think Sweetwater and Solid State Logic sending it to me for me to check it out for you. I had a lot of fun working with it, and I think you'll enjoy it. If you're someone going down this road, you won't be disappointed with it once you get over how much it costs. And if it'll fit on your desk, you'll love this product. So that wraps up part 4 and the likes and dislikes part of this series. I hope you found these 4 videos helpful to you. If you're someone looking for the UF1 or looking into the UF1 and you're not really sure, hopefully these videos showed you how easy you can get up and running and kind of give you an inside look from someone that's just being completely unbiased and trying to give you my honest opinion. Now, again, if you want to see some of the other controllers that I've tested, go check all the archives. We did the Softtube Console 1. We did the PreSonus Fader port. We did the PreSonus Studio Live. We did the Icon QCon Pro X, and we did the Behringer X Touch, and we done all the SSL stuff. So we did all the main manufacturers. And again, we really focused on it for how it does DAW control and plugin control. Things like the Studio Live are way more than just a DAW controller. That's a full-on digital mixer, but we really looked at it from a DAW controller point of view. But you can check all those videos out on the channel, and hopefully after you watch all those videos, you'll have an idea of which one might be for you if you're in the market for one of these types of units. So again, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Thank you for sticking around till the end of the video. I want to give you something else for sticking around this long and listen to me ramble. So as I said, go to homerecordingmadeeasy.com. Get that free mixing course. It's $100. Go get it. It's my gift to you for visiting Home Recording Made Easy. Once you take that course, if you want to buy one of my other courses on my website, I want to give you a 25% discount coupon code. That coupon code is YouTube25. Put that in the checkout. It'll take 25% off anything on the website. Okay? Do that today. Go check out some of that training. And until the next video, I've been Dave with homerecordingmadeeasy.com. Thanks everyone so much for watching me today. I'll see you guys in the next video.